Hello and welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And if you ever come to the point that you inherit a large or a normal distillery in Scotland from a very distant uncle and you have to work at the spirit safe, then I'll show you today. So the first thing what you have is you fill the wash still, you fire up the wash still, and then at some point you will see the wash still flowing through this glass here. Flowing through the glass is always good to see, yeah, system is running. You will always recognize the wash still bowl because you can't turn it. There are no cuts with the wash still and it's really black. This is because there are still some bits in it. These bits get burned and they get stuck here, but everything that comes out doesn't have much bits in it anymore. So everything is then afterwards is pretty pure. So how it works is you start it up, you come out with I don't know, 30, 35%. I don't know which, depends on how fast you burn, how much alcohol you have in your wash. And you fill up a flask and you measure it. It works the same on the spirit still. So this is how you fill up a flask. You just put it horizontal and you see the flask is filling up. After the wash still runs and you measure it, and the alcohol level is going to drop, and at some point it's going to reach zero, and that's when you shut off the wash still, and everything that's left in there has no alcohol left, so that's pot ale and waste. So you measure it until you reach zero, you shut it off, and that's how you do the wash still. The spirit still, you fill up with your feints, your foreshots, the intermediate spirit from the wash still, and you also get it up and running, make it nice and hot, until it distills. And at these points you then take regular measurements. And when you have the measurement, you fill it up, you see the temperature, have to look if the temperature is all right to take the measurement of your your swimmer here, and that measures the density, and therefore you can find out the alcoholic content. This here has already calibrated to alcoholic content. It's still bouncing a little bit, but it bounces from 70 to 72, so it should have an alcoholic content of about 70. I think it stops bouncing if I don't fill it up. Yeah, it has a bit more, it's 73. So when you take the measurement, you can see where you are, how much alcohol you have. And you have cuts that are predetermined, or you determine them in accordance to what you want to produce. If you put the first cut, the upper cut, a bit too higher, then you get more lighter stuff into the whiskey. If you put the lower cut a bit more lower, then you get more bitter stuff and more of the feints in there, so it becomes more of a rough whiskey. If you take your cuts higher, it's a lighter whiskey. If you take cuts lower, it becomes a rougher whiskey. And yeah, so you do this every 10 minutes and you have to look at the cuts. And when you are at a cut, you take your lever and you switch it maybe from foreshots to hard. That will be the upper limit or the upper cut. And this is then the bowl that leads to the, the hard. And this would have been the foreshots. And I can't switch these because of a problem here, but I will show you on the other side. Yeah. So once you've done that, you actually get your new make spirit. And apart from the shape of the stills and the speed that you're running your still, the cuts are the most defining, flavor-wise, defining procedure in your distillery. So you have to really stay true to your cuts to have a consistent whiskey.